let's record. Hello, everyone. Another weekly AMA in BrightID. This is August 18th, and we have a AMA with Utopia42, a multiverse platform that everyone can build their metaverse there. So we have Matt, Reza, Margaret, and Iman there. Iman here from the Utopia42 team. And I'll pass it to Margaret. She wants to tell us about Utopia42. So let's go.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. We're really excited to be here today. Utopia42.club is a whole multiverse. It is a platform where each person can create their own metaverse. It's decentralized, open source, and we have just launched our Citizen ID. You can go on to the platform system and create your own profile, mint your soul-bound NFT. And once you do that, we are on Polygon mainnet, and so you're using MetaMask to do that. Once you have minted your Citizen ID, you can link up to a BrightID if you're a verified BrightID user. And we are super excited to have this partnership with BrightID. We love the idea that it just verifies the uniqueness of that person, and just, gives a great verification and validation of who that user is, that is truly unique. Utopia42.club is working on a plugin system so that people that have created their own metaverse can customize things to be unique for them. So universities, businesses, various community organizations can come in and use the platform and make things truly custom for themselves. Today, we have other team members here, and I'm going to let each team member tell what they do. I'm the product manager, so I kind of go in between teams and do outreach, and am kind of a primary contact for people that want to use the platform. Let's start with Matt. Matt and Reza are our founders. We're going to start with Matt and let you introduce yourself.
All right. You can hear me?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah, so I'm Matt Reddy, and I am I'm a software developer and an artist, and I'm actually an elected politician. I'm a local politician, a hospital commissioner here in Port Townsend, Washington. But about 5 or 6 years ago, I had the idea of, the realization that you could use blockchains to record more than transactions for money. You could use it to record art or any type of art. And as an artist, I really found that very powerful. And so I started thinking about the concept of a 3D world that was saved on the blockchain. And so I put feelers out there, and I encountered and Reza responded, and he was I immediately liked the way Reza understood what I was getting at. It was a very early idea 5 years ago to talk about a 3D world on a blockchain, and Reza was like, I can do that. And so we started work on it about 5 or 6 years ago, and it went on pause when the Ethereum fees went through the roof. You couldn't really do gaming on a blockchain where it costs $5 to hit save. So it's evolved over the years, and now the team has expanded, and Reza's been doing amazing work. And it started out with the concept of a game, but it's more than that. It's really trying to explore what the metaverse can be for humanity. And I think the citizenship ID is going to be a huge step. You know, just the BrightID and decentralized identity, I think, is critical for how humans are going to figure out how to work together on this planet better. So, so yeah, that's basically who I am, and I'll pass it on to Reza.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. So we started this project 6 years ago, and that time the NFTs and metaverse and other concepts that are trends these days were not too famous. But I believe that the metaverse and the 3D world will be the future of internet. So you know that a lot of commercial companies are working on it. And a bad thing for the open source community and for the public communities that there are not any good software in this space, because you know that you need a lot of software and it doesn't work for the open source developers to start and work on these kinds of applications. But our goal is to work on a free software, so you can compare our platform with Linux comparing to Windows. So there is an open source platform, and all of the details of the protocol is public. And when we get enough users, so our goal is to get 1K users, and then after that run our DAO and yeah, try to combine metaverse and blockchain and open source and run a public system for everyone. Also, we have a plan to run a UBI token and distribute the incomes of the product among all people, because the platform itself is a public and a public platform, but commercial projects and games and everything else could run on this platform. And we can get a fee for the development cost from the projects, and also from the transactions, and this fee could be distributed among all of the citizens. So we will launch an UBI token in the future, and all of the citizens will be equal and will get a share of that token, because I think the UBI tokens is a good thing for managing the financial part of a community. But because on blockchain people are anonymous, this is not easy to do on blockchains. But we combine Utopia42 with BrightID, and maybe in the future we can add more options and let people to prove their uniqueness, and then we will have a community of unique people, and then the incomes and the financial things and everything else will be distributed among all people.
Awesome. I don't know, is Mohammed actually here? I don't know if his picture's here, but I'm not sure he's actually available. Mohammed Jafari is one of our blockchain developers.
Yeah, he's our blockchain developer, but he's not good in English, and
okay.
Yeah, I think he prefers to not talk. Yeah.
Okay, well, maybe Reza, you can tell us a little bit about how the technology that we're using and how we save to the blockchain. A lot of the metaverse systems don't save their land like we do. So if you could talk a little bit about that, since he can't
Yeah,
talk.
yeah. There are some existing platforms, but their goal, they have focused on entertainment. So uh, people go there and build some buildings and 3D models and then trade them. And their focus is in entertainment. And so we can consider them as a game. But our goal is to connect real world applications to metaverse. So our roadmap that we let every project to create his own metaverse lets the projects to have a customized world. So for example, let's say that one projects do not need a complex world and do not need a high quality 3D world, but another projects needs it. And we have our metaverse builder is supporting almost all of the models and repositories that other existing platform have. And in the next few months, we have a plan to launch audio and video streaming and let people communicate to each other. And you know that on a platform like this, a lot of things are doable. For example, education and universities, the different sessions about the different things could run on these kinds of platforms. So we already have some applications that are ready to join, and I think in the future, a lot more applications will be interested to join. There are some cities in the world that their government is trying to, you know, to connect them to blockchain and run some of their government services on blockchain. So we believe that this is the future of web, and I have studied AI, and I'm seeing that AI models are getting a lot better. So instead of going to a website and search for something in the future, you can go to Metaverse and talk to an agent that is trained to, you know, to provide a service about an application or about a service. So we think that this will be the future of web, and we want to be a part of it. And all of the developers and I are a fan of open source and blockchain, and we want to combine this with metaverse. And I think we are in a good state at the moment, and we have not used any investors, and the developers have spent their free times, and also we have invested on the projects on our own side. And our goal is to count on the users for getting some funds for making the whole system more stable. And I think after that, the system will get enough incomes from the users and from the projects who use the platform, and yeah, we can move forward.
Awesome, thank you. I wanted to mention that our project is up on GitHub. So it's available open source. People can go there and see what we're doing, and just to give that transparency, but also to be able to collaborate and, you know, add their own things to it. So yeah, thank you so much.
The platform is programmable, and yeah, there is an apps market like what you see on the mobile phones and app stores. And there is some APIs and a programming language that developers can develop plugins for the platform. So for example, if a project needs to build a city, so the users do not need to know about 3D, so they can use the plugins to create a 3D model and customize it. And yeah, we are supporting all of the 3D models that other projects are using, and their licenses allow us to use them. Also, we have a plugins platform, a plugin marketplace that everyone can come and develop something. So it could be a game, it could be an action for avatars, and yeah, everything else. So Utopia42 is a platform that other people can come and run their verses and offer their services. So in the future, we have a plan to define standard protocols for the different fields. For example, for the GameFi, for the real world applications like restaurants and universities and everything else that wants to launch their own verse. Yeah, so it will be a public platform for everyone, and with BrightID and other similar services, we can have a community of unique people from all around the world, and all of them are the same in the platform.
I wanted to mention that anybody can visit the platform as a guest. You don't have to have a cryptocurrency wallet to just come in and visit. So it just lets people explore a little bit without having to go through the steps of having MetaMask. And also, Matt, I wanted to see if you could mention a little bit about the kinds of things that you have imported and built with. You've done quite a bit of building on our first hub world. What kind of things were you able to bring in?
Yeah, well, the world, I mean, you build with voxels first, you know, the 3D blocks of, so like Minecraft style. And then we implemented the ability to stick images into the world, and you can stretch them to any size. Well, I don't know how big you can stretch them, but you can make them giant. I've made some, you know, towering images, and you can put in videos, and if you put the data on IPFS, you just link to the IPFS link, and so you can put videos, images, and you can put 3D models. Was a very exciting thing. So if you have some sort of 3D, I've put a lot of 3D scans. I have one of those newer iPhones that lets you just do a 3D scan of objects and environments and people. And so I've been having some fun converting those and importing those into Utopia. But that's a little bit, the 3D models, if you're doing, I've done some pretty complex 3D scans, and they push the game and the platform pretty far. So you want to be careful with those. But yeah, so it's basically with the blocks, images, videos, and 3D objects, pretty much anything you can imagine that you want to express, you can express in the 3D environment in Utopia. And the other cool thing it's very unique, unlike other metaverses, the parcels of land they can be any rectangular shape. And so they can be and there's no streets or predefined parcels. So it's evolving in this really chaotic manner if you look at the map. And you can go virtually, well, again, I don't know how high you can go, but you can go pretty much as high. I've built up, you know, seemingly thousands of blocks, and you can dig into the ground down, like, again, I don't know, maybe Reza will be able to tell us, is there an end to how far you can actually dig? I have not found it yet in this version. So you can build vast underground chambers, or you can build castles in the sky. I've been sort of playing around with that. And Yeah, and then, you know, at your parcel, you could, what I've started to play with is just putting one video sitting at certain spots, like a museum. You could walk and see an image or a video, and you can hit play on the video and you can hear the audio from it, and it can be a description of what's going on your property. Yeah, and so those are really exciting. The only, I mean, and as Reza mentioned, the only way to, the next level will be live audio communication, live streaming of video, maybe connecting YouTube videos into there. Yeah, and more social features. But yeah, so that's basically the gist of, and I guess another thing to say is that the spawn point in the world, the place where everyone starts, is a central property that that I'm currently the owner, but it's sort of thinking, we're trying to build that as really an amazing hub location, sort of a town square starting point for the 3D internet, and sort of like a hub point for metaverses. So as we figure out which other metaverses are going to be legit, really valuable platforms, we can make that hub spot have links out to these other metaverses. Oh, and that's something I should also mention. You can put hyperlinks. We have special blocks. You can put a hyperlink block anywhere. So you can, it really is making it a 3D web. You can think of it like a 3D web page. You can put images, videos, hyperlinks, and blocks, and other people. It's really quite a versatile platform.
And that's just one world.
Yeah, that's what one world.
Yeah. So the really cool thing is that other metaverses can be created, and you can teleport extremely easily between the two of them. You're just going through your menu system and saying, okay, go to this other metaverse, and boom, you're there. You take your avatar and your profile, and you can be, you know, with a totally different organization or university or whatever you're visiting, right? So the interconnectivity there is super exciting, and exciting that it is all decentralized data. So it's not on a central database. So we're really, really excited, and we hope that we can just reach out to more and more people and let people know that this exists, right? So thank you so much, BrightID, for bringing us on board today to talk about it. We're super excited about that connection for our citizen IDs to BrightID. Did you guys have any questions about Utopia?
Yeah, we have Philip here, like the co-founder of BrightID. So you might have like something to say. I would like to hear your opinion too.
And I apologize for being late and missing the beginning of the presentation. But I did have the chance to talk to the team a few months back, and it's exciting to come in and see the progress that has been made since I last had walked around the world. It definitely looks cooler and smoother. That was an interesting character that I was. He looked like some guy out of a movie. This orange hair and beard. Yeah, no, excited to see this. Glad to hear that I have not previously heard the language about sort of this being the 3D internet. That made sense to me in a way. It's like all these things that you do now, clicking around your web page, you should be able to do in this virtual world. You know, we don't really know what that's going to look like in the future. But right, we don't want to give up any of the things that we've gotten used to. When we come up with better versions, sure, fine. But I like being able to have all those pieces. It sounds like you're going into the sort of the open source stack of it all, which I think is the right way to go. You know, we've seen a variety of closed metaverses being worked on and talked about, and I hope that's not the ultimate winner. That's not how the web works. now, and I don't know. I don't think we should all be tied to a closed garden, so I applaud those efforts. Yeah.
Great. We're trying really hard to listen to what newest technology is, what's being developed. We're going to the Metaverse Standards Forum and listening to what other groups are doing, because we want to be as open and compatible as possible. If even it means just having, you know, a teleportation station that someone walks to teleport to another metaverse. We're trying, right now we have Ready Player Me avatars, and those avatars are like in 3,000 different GameFi and metaverse systems. So trying to just have that openness so people have that continuity and connectivity for that real dream of, you know, harking back to the snow crash metaverse feel, an idea that and truly trying to be that next step of the internet. And hopefully with everybody's help coming and building their own metaverses, their own, you know, that we can all work together towards that goal, right? Not sure exactly what that's going to look like years from now, but hopefully these are the first steps, right? Anyone else have any questions about Utopia42.club? I want to put that on there. People were saying what's the actual location is Utopia42.club.
So I was wondering, so what is your plan, or what do I get if I have the citizenship? So I created the citizenship, I minted the NFT. So what do you see is, what is your vision, what you can do with the citizenship?
Well, you can take it across metaverses. That's the biggest thing, is that it will be compatible, not just in our hub world, but on any of the metaverses that people make within this platform. So that is a soul-bound identification to you. And thankfully with the BrightID verification, people can feel like you are a unique person, hopefully to reduce, you know, the amounts of trolls and bots and things that people make. The citizen ID does have a bit of a matic cost to it. And some of that is so that we can sponsor people on BrightID, so that we can cover our costs a little bit there. And we've tried to make it as small as possible to make it as accessible as possible to as many people. There is on YouTube, I put up a walkthrough. So if you have friends and relatives that are new to like MetaMask, new to cryptocurrency, there is a walkthrough that hopefully will take them through that process of getting set up in MetaMask all the way through, you know, connecting up with the citizen ID and minting it for their profile. And we're still developing a lot of our social features. But the hope is so that you can carry that identity and communicate with people across all of the different metaverses, right?
Yeah, and if I can tag on to that, I mean, it's also it's going to enable us to do what Reza was talking about with a universal basic income token.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are going to, we launched a version of a UBI token on Ethereum in the past, but we had to wait until we had a stable, decentralized identity system to really do it in a meaningful way. So it's very exciting to the prospect of creating a huge platform that has revenue generation that feeds straight into income sharing with a universal basic income system. For, you know, my goal is like every person on the planet. And then the other thing that we can now do in a meaningful way, and I can't believe it's taken this long for the internet to develop a decent decentralized identity system, but we can now do voting and polls in a meaningful way instead of just having this globe of meaningless polls and votes on the internet, we should be able to leverage a decent decentralized identity system into really meaningful, accurate polls of what do people think about different things. And so it's just sort of a great foundation to bring into the Utopia, metaverse, or to we can get real reflections of what people's sentiments are, and we can do that fast, and explore new ways of sharing wealth. So that's sort of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, so I think in long term, the citizen IDs can do a lot, and we try to implement this because I think in the future, the people, the human, do not need to respect the borders that we already have. So in our white paper, we mentioned that the human will leave the Earth maybe soon, and the first question is that shall we respect the borders that we have on the Earth or not? And we believe that at some point the borders should be removed, and I know a lot of team and a lot of people who are working on this and trying to build an international ID for everyone. And we think that blockchain could be a good thing to do this. So BrightID is a decentralized ID that do not depend on any other IDs that governments have. And if we run a world, Utopia42 world, and use BrightID to have a unique ID for everyone, then I think in the long term, it could be a very good thing, and it could help humans to leave the borders. So this is our long-term vision, and this is our philosophy. But at the moment, I think in the next few years, the soul-bound NFTs will be the next trend of blockchain application, because everything that is attached to your identity could be on blockchain. For example, if you get a certificate from a university, or even if you participate in a session, then it could be attached to your identity as a soul-bound NFT. And in the last couple of months, the Ethereum Foundation had a conference and talked about this, and they mentioned that they need, I think, 2 years to implement this on the Ethereum network. But we already have implemented soul-bound NFTs using blockchain and BrightID, and this could be useful for a lot of applications. So let's say if you have something on a game, or if you participate in an education session or something like this, so an NFT will be attached to your identity, and your citizen ID will have everything that is related to you. And we are using our partner projects, the Mi1 network, to make the citizen IDs cross-chain. So the data is on Polygon network at the moment, but let's say if an application is on Ethereum network, we can use the Mi1 network to let that application use the data. And even for the off-chain application, let's say that there is a website and you need to confirm that you have a certificate on a specific field from a university or from a verse that is offering a service on Utopia42. Then we will provide some SDKs. Actually, we have the MVPs at the moment, and you can verify that you have a certificate from, let's say, a university, and you can push your data into an off-chain or on-chain service. So I think the biggest usage of the citizen IDs maybe in the next couple of years could be the soul-bound NFTs and the fact that we can track everything about the citizen IDs on blockchain.
Any follow-up on that, or did that answer your question about what the citizen ID is all about there, Michael?
Yeah, super interesting.
Okay. Were there any other questions? I wanted to talk a little bit also that Utopia42.club is looking to expand to other blockchains eventually. So it won't be just MetaMask and Matic forever. So we're looking at adding other wallets and other blockchains down the road. And also right now, we are just on the Chrome browser, but we do intend to expand to other platforms later on, mobile and all of that later. But we wanted to get this out as soon as possible so that people can start getting their own metaverses as soon as possible, if that makes sense. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to add, Matt and Reza, today? Oh, Reza, you are muted.
No, just if the guys have any other questions, we are here, and also some other developers, Sadev, my friend, and our developer, and other guys are also here. So if there is any questions, so we can answer. Yeah.
I have a non-Utopia question. Matt, what's up with the alien in the background?
Well, yeah, I think aliens and UFOs, I don't know if you've noticed, is an interesting topic these days. And it's a new interest of mine since the US Navy pilots and the Pentagon have said they're real. So I've been going down the rabbit hole of researching UFOs and aliens, and I've got a couple good masks because I want to do some events in my town where I'm like walking around wearing the mask and just see how people react. It's kind of fun.
When our alien overlords show up, you'd like to greet them in kind.
Well, I just think it's an interesting topic and nobody talks about it. It's like, it used to be politics and religion were the thing you don't talk about, but now you have to add aliens. Like it's like a forbidden topic because I don't know. It's just it's an interesting one. So
maybe they'll approach us in the metaverse.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I assume aliens would be eligible for a BrightID. Does anyone take issue with that?
I'd be happy with
that. Reza, I guess the DAO would have to officially say, non-humans. What about AIs? What if there's sentient AIs? Can they get an ID? That's really unsure.
Yeah. So we've used the word. Honestly, we've used the word human many times, sort of in BrightID's documentation and ethos. So I feel like algorithms would not qualify, although in the way that we are now starting to architect like the Aura system that's going to build on top of BrightID and make it much more detailed, human is a specific qualification that can be given. So if you can give that, then it's fine for you to be a conscious AI. You just be labeled as such. but like that it's a different category of thing. But just like with BrightID in general, you only have to disclose like the binary answer that you mean to. So you would not have to disclose that you are an algorithm, but you would not be able to prove that you were a human.
Yeah.
That's so cool to think about, right? Imagine inviting an AI to metaverse and just chatting, right? Like, that's so cool.
I just don't know how you count how many votes does an AI get if it has the ability to simulate 100 different identities simultaneously. It could pass the Turing test 1,000 times. I don't know. It goes back to the whole reason we need BrightID and decentralized identity, because one clever human can simulate themselves 50 times. So AI, I don't know, but aliens, if they have a biological body, I think we, we just use BrightID and recognize them as a being.
Yeah.
As you said, down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, it's a rabbit hole.
It was a fun rabbit hole, though.
Yeah, and I guess I mean, you asked like anything else. I just wanted to say, I think everyone should know that the world is open. You can buy land. It's not terribly expensive compared to other metaverses right now. We don't have a clear plan for how we're going to change the prices over time, but but it's a good time, I think, to get some land and to start building and exploring it.
If people start their own, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, we should add a time for like alien connection parties a day, also with Asian language. So, yeah.
If someone wants to buy land, do they do that through the app itself? Is there a separate marketplace? How does that work?
Yeah, you just go you hit the map, you hit M for map, and the map comes up, and you hold down the control key and stretch a box over some open land, and you buy it in MetaMask right there. So it's right.
What is the land denominated in?
Matic.
Matic.
Yeah, and I don't know if Reza, do you know approximately, like, can you say how much land costs right now? I don't know how much Matic per 10 blocks or something. I don't have a good.
If you select a land, the price will be calculated before running the transaction. So you can play with it, and we can change it if maybe us and later the DAO decide that the price is not good.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, if someone makes a metaverse, can they change the land price to what they want? Reza?
Yeah, we are open to this, especially for the non-profit projects. I think, we should maybe assign them a freewares, or maybe we should set a low cost for the lands. On the protocol and on the smart contracts, we can set the land price based on the project. So I think, especially for the projects for the early projects, we will onboard them, and we will try to develop their plugins for them on using our own developers. And after that, when we have enough verses and sub projects, then it could be public to everyone, and then everyone can create a verse.
And I wanted to mention, if you know anyone that is struggling with how to use MetaMask, how to use, mint their ID, needing to adjust gas fees or buying land, any of that, they can message me in the Discord, or they can message us on one of the social medias, and I'll try to get in there and help them. For a lot of people, MetaMask and cryptocurrency is new. So I have no problems helping people. So especially if you're inviting, you know, people that haven't been in crypto stuff before. I am here. I'm here to help. Anything else, anyone? We're just so thankful for this time with you guys today. And we have been, you know, looking forward to this connection for our citizen ID with BrightID. You know, following everything that you're doing, BrightID in your Discord and in your social media. And so it's so cool to put faces to each name, right? Like, thank you so much for this opportunity. And just great to get to know you guys a bit more.
Yeah, and thank you for just developing BrightID. Like I said, it's just like, it's such a critical need for the human race to solve the identity problem online. And it just opens up the doorway to so many possibilities. And I think BrightID is doing it exactly right. You have to have human, you know, to human verification at the core. And so thank you for all your work on this.
The comments and more importantly, the integration. And we figured out a long time ago that it's going to be the applications that actually drive people to get BrightID. Nobody's excited about getting a passport. They're excited about where they get to go once they have a passport. And I don't think that's a fixable problem, but there's a lot of places to go. And once you've gone through, now they're all open. And yes, it's a pain in the butt to get your BrightID the first time. It's not nearly as bad as people say it is, but it's still a pain in the butt. But once you have done it, everything else that wants to come along and build on BrightID is easy to use. The second thing you use with BrightID, you scan a QR code, you click OK link. That's it. Super easy. So it really only requires one killer app that makes people willing to jump through the hurdle to get their passport. So, and then everything else is just open to them. And we also believe that once some things keep out the civils concentrate in the things that don't, and the divergence between the places that don't have to deal with that nonsense and places that do have that nonsense gets wider and wider until more and more people want to be on the side of, oh, I would like to not be with the bots. You know, we've all used services in the past that, like, for the first year was really fun. That was a great place to be. And then a year or two later, it's just sort of been taken over by the junk.
Yeah, this could really help prevent that. It just is such a great step in the evolution of the internet. Really, I really think so.
So if there's nothing to say from anyone, I think we should end this. It's been 1 hour that we're talking about Utopia42. Thank you guys for coming, Utopia42 team, and thank you everyone. Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Michael. Yeah, bye, and we will see each other in the next BrightID community call and AMA next week. Okay,
Thanks
so
so much.
I'm gonna stop recording. Yeah, bye everyone.
Bye-bye, thank you.